Welcome, everybody, to the Serial Talk Podcast number 13, right? 13?
Number 13.
13.
Yeah.
13.
Number
Serial Talk. Serial Talk. Serial Talk.
13.
We have an amazing guest, Zach Fisher. He's a longtime dear friend of ours, and he's here going to be on the podcast. So what's up, dude?
It's good to be here, man.
Welcome. How you feeling?
Thank you. Feel
How
good.
are you feeling?
You just got married.
Feel good. I did.
Literally, how long ago was it?
11 days ago.
11 days?
11
Really?
days.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
How long were you guys dating for?
6 years. So we wanted to make sure. We wanted to be sure.
You were sure. You got it
You
down.
were sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so we
yeah.
were sure. But
Where'd you
it
guys
was
go
good.
for your honeymoon?
We went to Mexico, down to Riviera Maya, which is about an hour south of Cancun. Stayed at like an all-inclusive resort. Had room service whenever we wanted. Had like a full-time butler whenever we wanted.
wow.
All we could eat and drink.
Ooh.
Basically, all we had to pay for was like tips and that kind of stuff.
So
and
that's
then
just
like
if you wanted to.
exactly.
Or is it like in Mexico, when we went to Cozumel, sometimes you like had to pay for things for like people to like serve you, like you had to give them
No,
extra.
it
Was
wasn't
it that way?
No, I mean, like we called up room service, and I just did it just because I felt bad. I was like, I don't want to give these guys nothing, but I gave them like $2 each time. But it was like, I mean, we literally could order whatever we wanted, and so there were times like we were sitting at dinner, and Alyssa was like, "Well, I want this, but I want this," and I was like, "Well, just get both." So she did that, and so we would get like 2 entrees,
That's
all
awesome.
the appetizers. Literally all you could drink. So like each meal, I probably had like 3 or 4 drinks
Oh,
like the
man.
whole time. You go out by the pool lounge, and have guys that would come by and be like, "Hey, yeah, can I get pina colada and whatever?" Yeah, and it was like hard stuff too. Like I was drinking like old fashions or like Jack Daniels and
Ooh.
all that
Just
stuff.
get all the good stuff.
Oh
huh?
yeah, dude. I highly recommend the all-inclusive resort.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was
That's
nice
dope.
because like we could pay like one fee, didn't have to worry about it. Just once we
Yeah.
got there, because like everything was taken care of. About the only thing that we did pay for is like if we wanted to do like any excursions or like any spa treatments.
So it's like
and
a,
that kind
like
of
a
stuff.
cruise, really. Like a,
Basically.
Did
Yeah.
you
Wow.
do any excursions or
We did.
You
actually,
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
surprisingly.
Okay.
What'd y'all do?
We went first. One of the days we went to Isla Mujeres, and it was just like a catamaran sailing. We did like snorkeling, and then like went around the town.
I think it's a boat. What's a catamaran?
Catamaran?
Catamaran is like a sailboat.
A sailboat.
Okay.
Yeah, sailboat.
Catamaran.
What's
That's
it called?
a fun
Is-
word to
Isla
say.
what?
Isla Mujeres.
Sounds like
Isla Mujeres.
Isla
Isla
Sorna.
from
Isla
Jurassic
Sorna.
Park.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
There's another
so-
Isla.
yeah.
There's another one.
But
over there.
they, so like they.
Do you know about that?
He
She's
doesn't-
not
I
gonna
honestly
picture
didn't hear
that.
what you just said.
Isla Sorna. You ever heard of that?
Jurassic Park.
Well, we just said that.
You just.
Isla Nubar?
Yeah.
Is that what you just said? Did you say?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Then it is
Isla
Isla Nubar.
New
Isla
bar is
Sorna.
I don't know if it's New Bar. It's
While
something
we
like
were
that.
looking it
Newbar.
up, we did not introduce Zach once again. We just kind of
Yeah, we did.
It.
We said
Like,
Zach.
say what he
Our
does
friend.
and stuff. Yeah, our friend. That's all he said.
He lives.
Like they want to know in depth of what.
Do they?
Yeah, I
Do they
do.
really?
Well, okay, here. So I've known Mason and Colt since 4th grade. Really, Mason and I
Yeah.
played on the same football team from 5th grade on.
And I just started hanging out with you one day.
Yeah, exactly. Just a weird kid we couldn't get rid
Yeah,
of.
exactly. I stuck around.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
last 12 years. Here we are.
Gally, I met you probably what was
11th
that?
grade, maybe?
Yeah, sophomore year, 11th grade, junior year of high school.
10, 11, something like that.
Yeah,
Gally was just there one day.
I know. He just kind of showed
Yeah, I
up.
just showed up from Broken Arrow. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Did you?
Yeah.
Whenever you came, I know this is off topic, but did you just like, hey, that guy looks cool, and like squeeze in and just like we're there? Or, like,
I mean, not really. I wasn't that bold, but like, I knew the girls that everyone knew from church,
that's how
so
we-
like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
able to like insert
Work your way
well
in.
into the
insert
group,
where?
into the group.
Okay.
Wasn't it like your first day of football? You like separated your shoulders.
First, so it
Can you
was,
zoom in on that?
it was first week of. Okay, so it was
probably just
after
brought up a
it was
lot.
after like off season. It was like what month was that? I want to say it was like May or April or something like
It was
that.
probably
it was like towards
March.
the end. It was
Yeah. Because then we
we
go
had
into-
finished all of
Okay.
like the beginning of the year, but yeah, and then it was in the locker room. I went
Slipped
and
in the
peed, and I was
bathroom,
jogging out, and my cleats slipped. Tried to catch myself.
Man,
and
that had
popped
to
right
be
out.
like the good Lord, like stopping you from something. Like
Yeah.
that's the only explanation I
Yeah.
have for that situation.
No,
First
I
day-
just think that was like just
Nah,
stupid.
man, it had to be
I was
just
so
Which I
mad.
felt
the
so bad, 'cause
universe
I was
being
like-
like, not today.
I was
Nope.
like, here's this kid just moved in. He's like, he's in our friend group, and then dang, he's trying to play football, and then gets hurt.
Yeah,
But-
like
yeah.
dude,
So,
it's
so that's when we
awful.
met.
Yeah. Then I just lived in the training room for the rest of the
Dude,
day.
I remember like we were at spring practice, and like you look up and Gally's just like walking the stadiums, like,
Me and
just,
Chase.
like,
Chase with Stillman was hurt, so me and
yeah.
him just like walked around the whole time.
Good times.
I mean, it was great. I got to
It's
just
a nice,
chill.
It's a nice
Yeah.
little chuckle, like during the practice. You're just like,
Nice little chuckle.
like oh my, it's Gally. Hey, that sucks, Gally. And you're just like, shut
What a
up. dude.
weird time.
Yeah.
That was a weird time.
For my late room, yeah.
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 All right.
So that's how I met all of them. Currently, like we said, got married about a week and a half ago.
Shout out to Alyssa.
Yeah, shout out to Alyssa.
Fisher now, Alyssa Fisher.
Alyssa Fisher.
I saw that on
Yeah.
Facebook. It's always weird. Whenever
It's
you
still
see-
weird for me.
Yes.
Is it? Have you called her like your wife yet? Like,
Yeah.
like
I have
that's
a
my
little bit.
wife. Into like in another
A couple
conversation.
times. It was weird, like on the honeymoon, because we would do that a lot. And there was actually only one point in the honeymoon when somebody said Alyssa Fisher, and it actually sounded right.
Really?
But still,
At first
it
it's like,
still
whoa,
sounds
oh.
weird. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second, because we met like several other honeymooners, and because we were looking on Facebook, and Alyssa was like, "Oh, it's probably still under Alyssa Leggett," and they're like, "That sounds so weird. I only know Alyssa Fisher," and then I was like, "Oh, that sounds right." That's
yeah,
not weird.
yeah.
So, currently, I'll start work at St. Francis Hospital here in a week as a nurse assistant, and I'll be applying to medical school this summer.
Come on.
Yeah.
So that's
And you went to
what I'm
OSU for your
And
undergrad.
graduated from OSU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna go for your? Did you just say where are you going for your medical school?
Don't know yet. I'll be
Okay.
applying. Yeah. So
Where you want to? Do you have a preference?
OSU.
Oh,
here in
OSU.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the number one, but
In what
We'll see
like
what happens.
practice sort of?
no clue.
Okay.
But we'll see.
That's
Somewhere-
cool.
Somewhere making money.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere making money.
Somewhere
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Whatever
Now,
works. Yeah.
Speaking of last names and wives, do you ever call Miranda Brown like in your head, or like having a conversation like Miranda Brown, and you're like, oh wait, no, it's Gally now.
Nah, not really anymore. I mean, it's been almost 2 years now. Which
The
kind of
first
weird.
year,
Yeah.
almost all the time, it was Trinity Little. Like Trinity Cook was foreign to me.
Yeah.
It was always Trinity.
See, I
Little.
think I've gotten used to that a little bit.
Really?
Probably because I didn't really know her very much before you guys got
Yeah,
married. So
I never knew her as Trinity Little.
yeah.
I hate.
I
him.
never.
I hate him.
I have nothing to relate to this conversation. The only thing I will say is every one of your wives are still like their original name in my phone.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna take the time. To oh, they got married. See them go off. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna change her last name.
Yeah.
So-
It'll probably be like that for a lot of people. Still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we sailed to that island on the honeymoon, and here's what it looked like, and it was a big like tourist trap. Really.
That's cool.
So,
Ooh, that looks like a.
That's
it actually
really
wasn't that
cool.
fun.
He'll put that on the
So
thing.
yeah.
We're also gonna do this.
There we go.
In case he forgets.
Wow.
You see that?
Yeah.
Blue camera,
So that's
blue
where we
camera,
sailed
blue
one
camera.
day. Yeah. So that was actually
Bro,
pretty.
that's gorgeous.
It was a pretty sail. We got to swim around and stuff. Once we got to the island, though, it was like a lot of just people trying to shove merchandise in your face, and it was a
Really?
little overwhelming. But the next one we went to the next day, we actually went and snorkeled again, which that snorkeling was a lot better because we got to see like sea turtles and like stingray, and they were literally like right up in our face. And like, yeah, so that was pretty
That's
cool.
kind of awesome.
Then we went and saw like the Mayan ruins and that kind of stuff.
Ooh, that'd have been
And,
cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty legit. But other than that, we just kind of laid around the pool and did stuff that married couples do. So I sent that picture to you two with me standing on the balcony. So that was a lot of fun. We had like a bathtub on the balcony, so we
Dang.
took some bubble baths and stuff.
Go ahead.
Took some
Yeah.
bubble bath.
That's pretty cool.
It's so much
Oh, yeah.
fun.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
edit that out. That was weird.
And it was
What?
nice because
Edit that out. We're gonna talk about it too long.
what was nice is our room overlooked the ocean when our
As we
sunrooms
saw.
overlooked the pool.
As
so
we saw, yeah.
nobody could really see up to our room unless they were down on the beach. So which is why I felt comfortable going bare ass.
He sent us a picture today of, I don't know if I want to tell him about that tradition because it's close to my heart.
Yeah.
But post after that, he
Don't
sent
tell
us
about
a.
tradition.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
know. But that's like
No.
opens their mind.
Good.
and everything.
Yeah.
Let him think
But
about
Zach
it.
sent us a picture where his bare butt is like looking off into the ocean, and it was beautiful. And then we all edited ourselves in there, and it was a good time.
It was a good time.
Farquhar
Yeah,
put
it was,
himself right next to him. He's like,
Yeah.
It was,
it was
really
pretty
good.
fun.
It was good.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
And we're not going to put those pictures on here because they're inappropriate.
And for a
So-
long time, me, Zach, and Colt, I felt like it was us that just were rolling through like middle school,
like
and,
6th, 7th,
Yeah.
yeah,
8th grade.
Yeah.
That was it.
yeah, definitely. And like always. I feel like we were always at Zach's house. Never, every now and then my house.
Yeah.
Never
Probably
my house.
once a
Never
year.
your
Colt's
house, yeah.
And that was like that through high school too.
Well, it got.
Yeah.
We started to a little bit more at yours, but
Why?
and
Why?
then it kind of rebounded
though?
over to mine.
Why did we go to your house randomly that one time or those few times?
Honest, because there was nothing to do at my house. Like it
Yeah.
was.
I remember-
my parents were older, so they didn't do like cool stuff. It was just like come home and go to bed.
Yeah.
We would go
I
to your
didn't-
place and you'd be like playing like computer
All
games.
that there was to do was video games, and I didn't like. It was just
Right.
like what is there to do at my house?
Well,
you guys
my
want to sit
old
here and play
house, we
video
had like
games
the
for 6
Green
hours?
Belt, and we had Peters right by it. We could go
Yeah.
play. And then we had Guitar Hero Metallica that we jammed to till like 3,
And you had
4
that
in the
big
morning.
game room upstairs.
Yeah.
What's
the
So it was like
basketball
hanging out in that
goal and
game
stuff.
room. Like there was, if
Yeah.
we went to my house, like why are we here? Let's go to Zach's house.
We could go on for a long
That'd be
time
a
for
whole other
stories.
episode. Yeah.
So what's your most vivid memory of like that time period for both of y'all?
I know mine.
I know mine too.
I know mine. Mine is actually a story because I was unconscious for it, but it was upstairs. It was one of the nights we were spending the night. It's actually the same time. I shot you with an airsoft gun. This time I remember. And
You gotta go in more depth with
All
that
right,
because that
all
was
right.
pretty
Was
dope.
it his hand
My
hanging
freaking
out?
finger, dude.
all right. So I'll do the whole night. So that night we go to bed. We had just got done watching like Sasquatch videos or something crazy, like something.
That was our
stupid.
thing.
That was our thing.
Because we
Sasquatch.
started a YouTube channel.
Sasquatch.
I still have it, bro. I
Sasquatch
still
eat
post like
fish
stupid
or
stuff.
something.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
Because we were up like one of the nights, and we stood up, we were making jokes about Sasquatch because we were stupid, and I did the Sasquatch walk, and you were like, "You're Sasquatch!"
Yes, that became his nickname.
and it became my nickname.
And then we watched all these conspiracy videos and freaked us out.
Yeah,
about
and we watched
Sasquatch.
Ghost Adventures.
And
You guys-
Ghost Adventures, yeah.
Well, one night we had just got done doing something, I don't remember, and we went to bed. And I guess in the middle of the night, me and Zach were sleeping on the floor, Farquhar was on the couch, and I guess I woke up, and I got up, and I tapped Zach. It's pitch black out there. Okay, it's dark, I'm asleep, my eyes are closed. Zach gets up, and he's like, "What's up, man?" And I just tap him, and he's like, "What's up?" And I look at the entryway, because there's like stairs, and
Your
I
eyes
point.
are closed.
Eyes
Your
are closed
the whole time.
I point, and then I go back to sleep. And Zach was up for like 2 more hours because I scared him to death.
I was like,
I
oh my
agree.
god.
I wouldn't go back to bed after that.
And then I woke up, and I was trying to get you up because you weren't getting up.
Was this the next
The
morning?
next morning. The next morning I get up, and we had played airsoft in the back the day before
Yeah.
or something. So there's airsoft guns around,
Laying around.
and so
the
I had been
pistol
like,
was laying
I'd
by.
been shooting his
Side.
his
Nothing
no,
else.
he had
blanket,
the
right?
blanket, and I was like, he wasn't getting up, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna actually shoot him. And he covered his head, he covered his body, except for like your finger or something sticking out. And I was over there, and I'm thinking I'm all cool.
He takes like 10 minutes to aim and make sure that you get it right.
And then, and he jumps out of bed and tries to
Bro,
fight me.
fingers hurt too. You know they
Yeah.
do.
Well, and it was like
Yeah.
point blank range too.
Yeah, because I was probably like a couple feet away, but it was just like right here.
Yeah.
And he was so mad at me.
So mad. Cole always does stuff to me when I'm sleeping, bro. When I was, we were like at my house one time. I was laying down like this, and he was trying to wake me up again. And he's like, "I'm gonna get some of the, the pop rocks that like burst and you hit the ground." What was it called?
yeah.
The little firecrackers
Yeah,
you throw and they
firecrackers.
pop.
Yeah, you just
This man aims
pop
it
it, I
at not like my foot or something. He throws it at my head.
Ooh.
Hits my ear. I got a Modern Warfare 2 flashbang. I'm just like, oh my
Y'all,
god!
it literally
I
it
can't
hit
hear.
inside of his ear. It wasn't like here. It wasn't here. It wasn't even like behind. It was literally like the curve of your ear hit right here. I watched it go inside of his ear. Your parents were so mad
They
at
were
me.
so
Your mom
mad.
was like, "What are you doing? Why did you do that?" And I'm like, "I thought it'd be funny. I wanted to wake him
Well,
up."
I couldn't hear. Like I was pretty deaf in that ear for a good like week and a half.
6 years,
Yeah.
because to this day he still struggles
still
with that.
running.
No, that's because of Galley's party with the gun, and I was stupid and didn't wear the headphones. It's like boo boo, and it's like
Yeah, you
kept
said
doing.
you're deaf from that.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, good.
yeah. That it just added on to it, but
Maybe your ears are just super sensitive.
probably now after that
Yeah.
incident.
Might
Zach,
be.
what's your most vivid memory of that time? Sorry, I know we're
Probably-
leaving you out, Galley, but
I wasn't in there.
yeah.
I don't know if I want
Sorry.
to steal your thunder because I feel like I know what yours is, but it's probably the night that we all ran around the airsoft guns.
That's
around
mine.
That's
Peters.
it. I remember
Yeah.
that one. I almost brought that,
That
up
one
a
was
second
pretty
ago.
vivid. So I'll let me think of another one.
No, you can tell that one. I can tell a
Yeah.
different one.
So that one, to be honest, I don't even know how it started.
I don't either.
It was like
Airsoft
the most intense,
was the big thing.
like dopest night though.
Remember when the car? Okay, tell the whole story, and then I remember a vivid moment
yes,
that we're
yes,
like
yes,
trying
yes,
to
yes.
hide, and we're like, we're gonna get the
Oh,
cops
shoot.
called.
That was your computer. My
Are
bad.
you cool?
The
Charger.
So
Yeah, good. That's yours. That's like.
so we ended up
Just
going. So like airsoft was like the big thing, and we had an elementary school that was right up by my house, and so that was so fun to go on the playground and play airsoft on. And one night we were like, hey, let's be on the same team, and we're like tactical mission, so we're like shooting like invisible
children,
guys
like
and
little
literally
kids.
run around like yes, totally like you would expect this from like maybe first and second graders, not from like guys in 7th grade. And
People
I remember
going
at one
through puberty
point,
at the time.
I
Like,
remember at one point we panicked because we saw security cameras and we're like, oh my god, they're gonna think they're weird.
Yeah, the stuff you
And
worry
so
about
we
now.
wanted to
Yeah.
like point out and be like, they're airsoft because they had like the big.
Yeah,
We're like,
we
it's
literally
airsoft.
pointed at it. We like looked at the camera like orange. I did too.
we're
Bro,
just playing.
Yes.
with that memory, and I don't know if this is just me, but like I remember even my imagination. Like I remember us doing it, but I don't remember it like just that. I remember like the imagination. I remember feeling like
Yeah.
we had like
Tactical. I
Yeah.
remember how tactical
well,
I felt.
also
Yes.
what I felt like I saw too, like because we always acted like there's like
Bad guys
out
everywhere.
there,
Yeah.
and then you had night vision. Like
Yeah.
I picture that night in that same way, like with the imagination.
Dude, kids these days will never have that level of imagination.
Honestly.
I mean, seriously.
We
They
ran out there-
don't-
do you guys
they
remember-
sit there on their iPads and do.
commanding to each other like, you take point.
Yes,
And,
I remember that. We
we'd,
took
like,
turns taking point.
And
Like,
then
we
we'd
did it,
breach
like-
the corners and stuff. We thought we were so cool.
we went like it was like 20-minute rounds with each of us as like the head leader
Yeah.
or something. And we would go around the
Okay,
playground.
probably
It was
circled
so-
7 times.
Do you
Honestly.
remember? Do you remember the part where the cars started to drive through and we were in the front
Yes.
and we were by the trash
bus loop?
cans? We were by the bus loop
Yeah.
and they had the recycle bin. And the
Yeah.
car started going, so all three of us get
We
in
were, like,
between
hiding.
the. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
trying to like circle the car with the
We were
the car
pretending
would
it was
be over here.
bad, and
Here's the
like-
bin, and we're like sitting next to the bin like this, and the car would move and we'd move like that.
Yes.
But we were obvious because all three of us. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way we could have hid.
No
and I remember
way.
thinking
Yeah.
we're gonna get the cops called. This is terrifying, but we still did it. Like
Yeah.
we hung out forever.
It was fantastic. I don't know, a lot of them, like, even going into, like, Ghost Adventures, we'd, like, scare ourselves with YouTube videos. Like, try
Yes!
intentionally.
I
And
remember
so,
that.
I remember all of us
I remember
doing
your
that.
desk in the corner, and we'd huddle around that desk in the
Yes.
corner. And we'd
Yep.
sit there,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, Poker Face. Y'all remember that? I remember when we all
Yeah.
watched Poker Face.
Why we, like,
I don't know, but I remember that,
That was like
super
the hit
distinctly.
line or something,
We watched
yeah.
that video like 8 times. I don't
ran
know
into my
why.
sister's room. I remember one time.
Yeah,
she
that
got
was what I was
scared.
gonna
We
get-
like
yeah.
saw like a scary
Yeah.
video or something, ran into her room and annoyed her. And
dude, good. That's some good time. And
That's
then we
good
always had,
childhood
I remember you always
moments
had
right
Sprite and what was it, root beer? No,
Dr.
Sprite.
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, Sprite, Dr.
So
Pepper.
we
That's where I
down
got addicted.
rows of freaking
Your
Sprite.
house set the standard.
Yeah.
Like at any
Yes.
point after any house, your house was the only.
That was
one
a
matched it
similar
ever.
one. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Your houses
houses
were similar.
Yeah.
Were they?
Bro,
Yeah,
jump
sure.
into your universe.
All right, so I was thinking about this in class today. Okay, we're talking about, I don't know what we were talking about, and probably didn't care. Actually, I love this class. I have a humanities class, super dope. But
Humanities,
so yeah, because we're like learning about the solar system and all kinds of dope things that I think are cool.
In humanities?
I don't understand why, but it's dope.
It's
I
just
don't
called
remember
humanities.
I don't
It's
remember
humanities 1, and it's just like
Yeah, they have
what he
mine.
explained it as is this class is going to be the study of everything and how it correlates together. So like the study of like humanity itself and how every aspect of it correlates. So right now we were talking about the Big Bang Theory, and then we were talking about evolution theory and all that stuff. Okay. Well, we were watching a documentary today because it's a 3-hour-long class because it's summer, and I started to think about what if all of everything around us is our reality, but in the truthfulness of everything, it's a higher life forms program. So like we have been programmed to do what we are doing, to see what we see, to behave like we behave. So what got me thinking about it, I remember now, is physics is laws that are set in place for how the universe works, right?
Right.
Like gravity is mass and it brings everything close to it. So there's a law that says this gravity is going to make this phone drop. Boom. I can't break that.
Right.
So who set that law is my thought process. And of course I have God and I think that. But then I was like, what if that was all created on some higher life form's computer, and so that's our reality? And then I started thinking about, what if the video games we play now, those little things that we have programmed in there actually have some kind of consciousness, and that they have like their reality of what we have created it to be. Does that make sense? Do you see where
I think
I'm
so.
saying?
So it's like a there's a big guy sitting on a computer looking at Earth, and it's doing everything that we're doing. Then when we sit at a computer looking at stuff in the video game, then that's
You see,
controlling that,
like
and
even
then
a
it keeps
2D
going
game,
down.
this
okay,
2D
yeah.
person sees his 2D world, and that's what he believes is reality.
So like when we're playing Modern Warfare 2 and like we're killing people, like that little dude in there is like killing people in his
Yeah.
war in real life.
and his reality is,
like-
okay, my job, what my existence is for, is to kill that person. And he thinks that his motions and his movements are his own design too. Does
Then,
that make sense?
Like, say you die this level, it's like in Endgame, you have multiple, like a multiverse, like
Multiverse.
timeline.
Yeah.
So it's
Right,
like in
yeah.
that timeline he dies in this, but in this timeline he dies in the
then-
main
but in
timeline
our-
he lives and goes.
In our reality, that's just a new save. Like we've just restarted or whatever.
Right.
But that's different timelines. So
But
that,
for our
that universe is
reality-
ended.
Yeah, so a multiverse.
So
Yeah.
multiverse. That was a
Multiverse
good one,
theory.
bro. That's a good insight right there.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Isn't that crazy?
Multiverse
I think it's
theory
crazy.
is very interesting.
Multiverse.
very
Anyways, what
awesome.
were we gonna say?
Yeah.
Let's go to that after, but let's keep talking about this.
I mean, so, but for us though, for our like, and I started thinking of it, and I changed it though because like you could say, like you said, their movement you think is their own, but it's not. But would our life have more? I don't even know, dude.
It's kind of like the
I'm all
Matrix. Is
over
that
It's
kind
kind of
Yeah,
like the
like
Matrix.
Matrix,
simulation
yeah.
that you
That's
don't
how I
know
explained it to
Our
my.
lives
Deja
are-
vu, you see that.
Our lives would be kind of like a simulation, but it's a simulation for other life forms, not for us. It's not like when we
Or-
wake up, we're like in another universe or something. We're just we are on somebody's computer, and they have programmed it, and it couldn't even been they control us. They just programmed us to behave certain ways, so we do it on our own. But it's all just like a big program.
Well,
Does that make sense?
And think about this. You guys ever like see something in life and then you realize I've seen this before and you realize you dreamed it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Before- like, does that ever happen?
Deja vu. Like,
Deja,
right.
like
Well,
serious deja vu, but also like.
But it's like you dreamed it. Like I was like, I had a dream about this happening, but
Oh, okay, I see what
you
you're
almost
saying.
forgot about it. But then when
Okay.
it actually happens in real life, you're like, oh,
Oh,
shoot,
shoot.
I've seen this before.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what if that's like a safe game
That's
or,
the-
or like a
That is
reset or
creepy
something?
stuff.
You know,
Or your multiverse is like person thinking in a different way.
it's like when the two Gamoras,
Yeah.
like mesh.
Nebulas.
and There's nebulas. I'm sorry, when the two nebulas, like
We can still talk. He'll just
Yeah.
put this over it or
Yeah.
whatever. But oh god, what was I gonna say? Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't remember what I was gonna say. He freaking distracted me with all that. It was good. It was about what you just said.
something about Nebula with the two. You got the dream.
Oh, I remember now.
Yep.
Do you ever like have one of those close calls in life where you're like driving or something and something almost bad happens?
Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh, that was scary. Oh my goodness, I missed it by that much, or just whatever it is. What I always think about this: what if one of the timelines, or like save games or whatever, what if I actually screwed up? I got hit and I died, and I'm restarted now, and so I'm going about it, and
Right.
whatever's
So you
happening
remembered to
is I'm
swerve.
just like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, I saw that this time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's some crazy stuff. It's
Not that I believe any of that, but
Well,
that's
no, but,
still
like,
kind of
It's,
cool to think
it's
about.
fun to think about. Yeah.
It's like this isn't really like. I mean, it's not really related, but we just talked about the game Stellaris, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's like this where you explore space. You have like this. You create a civilization or whatever, and you explore space. So they have in there this certain thing where you can find like aliens that are intelligent, but you can also find these aliens that are primitive. So you can like find this planet, and there'll be these people on there and say like, oh yeah, these people are in the Bronze Age. And it's like super interesting to kind of think of it like that. It's like, oh, well, you just leave them alone. Like, what if there's like aliens or whatever that came to us multiple times? They're just like, oh yeah, these guys like
They're
don't know
not
how to,
quite where
they
we
don't know how to
wanted
like
to
go
be
light speed yet. Like we'll just like
Yeah, freaking idiots.
well yeah,
yeah.
like, oh they still like kill each other all the time on the planet or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like they just pollute everything. Like yeah, we'll
Hi,
just leave
everybody.
them be.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting like thought process like that. Like we could be looked at, like we could be studied all the time. Like we're this just primitive little planet that's like
It
all
is-
we do is
it's
argue
crazy.
and fight each other and all that kind of stuff. But like these guys are like, oh
It's
yeah,
like the
that's
little
funny.
Dicky
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Earth go hard though.
Kind of along that,
Oh, they could be like,
kind of along
other
that,
conquests.
that line when like, so you know like half the stars that you see at night are dead.
Yeah.
It
Light
takes
can't
too long
travel.
for it to get to
Right.
us.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's one theory that I saw, and I don't know how true this is or not, but if there are like other life forms out there that are watching, that can watch our planet, they probably don't see this happening right now because that light hasn't reached there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So they may see the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they may see.
I was just
the
gonna say- I was just
cavemen
gonna
or
say
something
that.
like that.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
So the
That's
reason
crazy.
they haven't made contact is because they see
Nothing
there's no
here.
intelligent life
Yeah.
there.
You would just have to go at that time. Like you'd have to be in that same place at the same time to really see them otherwise, right?
Right, or close enough, because
Yeah.
light can only travel at a certain amount of speed.
Right.
So, like those stars, we
That's
see them
crazy.
as still being there, but in actuality, they have blown up and died like several thousand years ago,
Yeah.
potentially.
Millions
But it just
of years
hasn't
ago,
reached,
possibly.
Yeah.
but it hasn't reached us yet.
Yeah.
That's
So,
super interesting.
Interesting.
Especially like
wow.
you have to be really close because like the sun is 7 light minutes away.
So, it
if
takes
the
7 minutes for
7 minutes for the light from the sun to get. So if the sun were to explode,
Yeah.
we would not
we're
know until
still good
7
for 7
minutes.
minutes.
And
I
then
thought it was
just-
like 20 or something like that.
7.
It's
Yeah,
7?
7 minutes, and then at that point it's like, oh, well, too late. But
See, that's crazy.
It's just weird, like how like thinking light like that as being something that isn't
Actually, the sun would
immediate.
get close to us
Like
first.
you think it's immediate because that's the only thing we know, and that's
Well,
the only thing
because
we
if I turn that
comprehend.
off, we would say it's instant.
Right, me even
Absolutely
being able to
instant.
look at you moving
The
things
longest
is
part of
because it's
turning
that
that off
close.
would be the electricity getting to it and then getting back. Like that would be the longest part, not the light particles. In
or
the
just the
air.
light from
Yeah.
you that's reflecting. Like,
Yeah,
the
instant.
fact that I can see my hand moving and stuff is because it's instant.
in
It's all
what feels
light.
like real time and accurate
Yeah.
enough that if you threw this at me, I could catch it more than likely.
And then it's sad
because
to
of
think
how the
like
light
we can't
particles
go
are
through
bouncing back.
space without going even many times faster than that. It's
know.
like yeah, we could be faster than light, but it'd take
I
280 light years to get to this thing. It's like oh well, that sucks. Like,
Yeah, I heard that it's theoretically impossible to go faster than light. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys have any input on
yeah.
that.
I
heard
think
that it's
probably that's where the thing of like
it's going to end up being like
Einstein's like
wormholes or something.
yeah,
like
that's
that.
like the only thing that they think can happen.
Well,
Yeah.
in the movie Interstellar, Steven Spielberg, isn't that the guy that directed it?
Probably
something
that
like
sounds
that,
right.
yeah.
Produced it or something?
Or Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan. He wanted to have a scene where they travel faster than light, but the physicists that were consulting on the movie said it's not possible. You
Dang.
cannot put that in the movie because it is literally not possible.
Possible.
But isn't that like they
So it'd have
find
to be
things that
something like the
dispute
wormholes
things,
that they
right?
go
Like
Is that low-key sad? Like,
yeah.
For me, because that means that it limits us to basically our own solar system,
Yeah.
and that's it. So the only other inhabitable planet you could think of really would be a Mars, unless we figure out wormhole technology or something like that. Because the only place we could get to is Mars, and there's only one other terrestrial planet in our solar system where we could build stuff on, excluding moons, and I think it's like Mercury or something like that.
And I
Which
think
would
that
be
would
too
be
hot to
Which
way
you wouldn't
too
want to go
far.
there.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that
Yeah,
would
way
be
so we
awful.
literally can't get to another solar system because nobody would survive that journey.
Yeah,
the
you
only
would-
way you could do that is if you sent
One of those
somebody
like,
and
arc
like,
ships or whatever.
sent like a man and husband and wife and said have kids and somehow
have a colony.
like,
I've heard what
start a colony.
some theories were that they have kind of, what do they do now when they, because you don't need like a human body to produce a baby anymore. You can actually do it in like a chamber.
Yeah.
Fill up a ship full of those chambers, and then once and have like some people who are surviving, like 50 so caretakers over generations of like it's cost like 800 years to get there, and they basically spend this entire 800 years producing, just living,
Yeah.
surviving until they hit the destination that they're after, and then once they're there, they turn on all these babies. And all these babies grow up, they take care of them, and that's how they start this new population.
Like, I want it to be so much faster than that. You know,
But
it's
here's
like,
the- here's
I
the
want to be
thing.
there tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like, I want to do it.
Yeah, but like if it takes them 800 years to get there, it's like, well, 800 years on Earth, we may have the technology to get there quicker.
oh yeah,
And so
that's
they may
for
have
sure.
something now.
That's what it
and then
was,
It's like
yeah.
we would
And
And we
pass
watched the
them.
same video because that's exactly what
I've
they said
heard
on
that.
the video.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
100% what they said. They were like, the problem is if you do that, by the time that they reach there, we may have actually passed those people because we've
I might have seen that
better
same thing.
technology
Right.
that can go faster than they could. So we would have passed them, and there was you wasted 800 lives or whatever it would be.
I think I'd seen that same thing. But I thought I remember like a video or something where it was like, maybe it was a similar concept though, where it was like, yeah, if someone tries to go at the current technology rate, and then it takes them, like you said, 500 years or something. Well, by the time that we've been surpassing that, we already get to the planet they're going anyway, and we've already have like a civilization, and
Yeah.
like we're already thriving there. By the time they get there, and it's like, who are these guys?
They show up and
Yeah.
they're like, "What the crap? We were
Right.
supposed to be here." And it's not even the original people that left, anyways. It's their like 10th generation.
Yeah,
Right.
so explaining
that
to them,
shows
like,
up and they're like, "Oh!" And they what that means? They've created their own culture,
Mm-hmm.
probably their own beliefs, probably their own. They would be literally like us. Just their world now is a spaceship. How crazy would that be? And but here's
Literally,
also
people would spend their whole life up there.
yeah,
yeah,
countless generations.
yeah.
That'd be gross. That'd be a gross place
That'd
to
be
live.
Yeah.
wow, that's just wicked.
Think about food, like how much food you have. That's
How do you get vitamin D?
Yeah, they would have
just
to. They
open
would
up
have to
the-
account for those things. They probably have to build chambers or things that you can walk into.
You drink orange juice, I guess.
It'd be
Bro.
that's vitamin C.
Oh yeah, well, Sunny D. That's not.
If
nothing
they ever
do with
decided to come back
vitamin
too, because they're going so fast, they would come back, and let's say 500 years had passed, and it would feel for them it'd be 500 years. Let's say they came back to Earth. Earth, it could be thousands of years.
Well, they
Humans could be
cannot
gone.
even survive on that Earth because the atmosphere and everything is constantly changing, and the diseases and that kind of stuff that
Yeah.
we go. So like
diseases, especially.
So like I mean,
Or-
if we would travel back to like the Stone Ages, we may not survive, not because of like our skills and everything, but because of like stuff that was rampant, disease,
I think
and
that
sort of stuff around that
we'd
time.
That's a
probably
great point.
also pretty much kill off everyone there.
Yeah,
By
'cause
all
we
of
bring our own
because we have so
diseases.
many complex diseases that
Exactly.
are
Be like
subdued in
Columbus.
ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
but just
exactly,
that's exactly
like
what
that.
happened to the
A bigger
Indians.
version.
Yeah.
Like we just kill everyone basically. It's just weird to think, but it's so interesting.
It baffles me that time is a dimension.
Yes.
In the sense that you can actually distort it. Like when the closer you get to a massive object, the more time distorts. So you know,
It gets slower,
speaking of
yeah.
Interstellar, like that scene that they're on that planet, and they're like every two hours, 27 years goes by, or 24, or whatever it was,
Yeah.
and they're there for like 30 minutes, and they come back, and he's like, "You guys have been gone for like 16 years, or whatever it was."
Yeah.
It was something
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It just blows
That's
your mind.
real.
Ugh.
That's so real.
Yeah, Einstein actually talked about that, like, and that's technically the only way that time travel is really possible, but it's
Right.
like permanent time travel. So
Yeah.
it's like once you do that, you can't go back to
Yeah.
like. In
So it's
Endgame,
only
you
travel
can't-
forward.
It's only travel
You can
forward.
only travel forward.
And
It's
time-
a-
it's-
What about
it's-
in Interstellar? If we're jumping in that, like at the end, where he's looking at like, is he just a shadow? Because he can't travel back at that time, right?
Are you talking about when he like communicates?
Yes.
I don't know much about that one. I think it's interdimensional. Is that what that
At
was?
that point, yeah, it's kind of like
He's like in the fifth
It's
dimension
like-
or something like that.
I think it's like that. Yeah,
could be
and
totally
or
wrong.
it becomes where like time is like an actual like physical thing. So he's like in the bookcase, but if you see like he's in one area and he can see Murph as like a grown up, and then
Yeah.
he moves a little bit to his left, and then he sees her at teenage and moves a little bit to the left, and then
Yeah.
she's young. So he can move back and forth like that. So like that's the idea, I think.
There was
That
a,
time is actually like a linear thing that you can move back and forth.
there was a higher power. It was they talked about a higher power in that. Was that the
Right.
higher power, or was that the one?
He was the higher power.
Yeah.
Are you sure though? Because he did. Remember, the robot did say they at the end. Remember, he's going
But
through
then
it.
he says we sent ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like the future. They sent a wormhole.
I need to
and,
want to
like,
watch that again.
Yeah.
I, did too, 'cause I don't know.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
watch
the
it
clarity.
tonight.
Yeah.
I
To
think
be
it's.
honest.
I think it's kind of like. Oh, what am I thinking? It's like. I mean. It's like the future becomes your present or something like that, and so it's like once they got there, they're like, "Oh, we got here because of this wormhole, so we know that we need to put this wormhole in there
Yeah.
and go." But like all that time travel stuff is so like trippy with what's real and what's not, and I was actually reading up a lot on it after Endgame because I thought like the Back to the Future stuff was like
Yeah.
more like what it was going to be, and then they said Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And they basically say like there's so many different paradoxes that you can get, like the grandfather paradox. Which have you guys ever heard that?
I have no idea what that is.
So the grandfather paradox, we're talking about time travel, is say you go back in time to kill your grandfather. So you do that. You go back in time and kill him. Well, then
You don't exist.
your father never exists,
Right.
and then you never exist.
so the back-
So you never
therefore,
exist.
you can't go back to kill
You
your
never
grandfather.
existed.
So
Go
that,
back. I
that's,
have heard of that.
that's
Yeah.
most movies
Yeah.
that they talk about. Back to the Future
Right.
and so on.
I haven't
Right.
heard that. I hadn't heard it called the
Yeah,
grandfather.
that's-
Yeah,
paradox,
that's what
but
it's called. The
I've
grandfather
heard of that
paradox.
before.
Then there is actually the Hitler paradox, because that is always the theories. Like everybody's like, "Oh, we'll go back in
kill
time and kill baby Hitler."
the worst person ever.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, which I'm a little foggy on this theory, but it's like you go back and you actually kill a baby that you think is Hitler, but then somebody else actually grows up and becomes what.
I've heard of that.
So that is
So it's
kind of-
like it fulfills what's supposed to happen.
right. It's like
on
what
its own.
what already happened
So it's
is going to
self-correcting.
happen anyway. Yeah. The universe is self-correcting. So it's like you go back and kill baby Hitler, but then somebody else comes and does the exact same thing that Hitler does.
If that theory was correct, or that hypothesis was correct, that almost makes you believe that the entire universe has already been written out. Like there's a
Yeah.
set
Right,
what's supposed
right.
to happen.
Is there though? Because think about it. Because God is not bound to time, right?
Yeah.
So he looks at time like a timeline, like a bookcase, like Matthew McConaughey does. So is it already like set? Because you don't have something that's just like moving and
Yeah.
then it's like creating it. If you see time like that, if you're God, you see time like moving. it's basically already set, right? Your
Yeah, because he
destiny's already
says,
set.
well, Jeremiah 29:11,
Yeah.
I have great plans for you.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of makes it set, like it's already set and it's already done.
Then it gets into free will. So do you have
Yeah,
free will?
So
You
this
really
is
have
what
free
you guys
will,
want.
yeah.
This is my
This is
thought behind it.
philosophy
This
class,
is
yeah.
right now. This is what we're doing.
We did this at
So I've
SBU.
always thought, because that is true, he can see all of it. He can see whatever you do and whatever decisions you're going to make, and he knows which ones you're going to make. So I've always thought it was kind of the multiple timeline where it's like you're here, and he knows that at this moment you could possibly do this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. He knows that if you go this way, then this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. And then here, if you made that decision, then you have 6 more decisions. And he knows each branch all the way
Right.
through. It's just us to choose which ones we're going down. That's what I've always kind of
But that
thought
would
of
be
the situation.
you know
That's
different
still
multiverses.
Is that still considered free will though?
I would say it because you still have the freedom of choice. He just knows every choice that you could possibly make. He knows which he knows the outcomes of each one. Does that
I
make
like
sense?
that. I like that theory because I've heard where it's like, you know, if you believe that God is all knowing and all powerful, then you can't have free will because then it would in a sense be like you're not under that control in a way. You're not,
But sometimes
which would make him all
chair
powerful.
sucks.
I like
Sometimes
that.
there's also like an illusion of free will. So kind of like your thing, you're here, you have 5 different possibilities. Then you're here, you seem like you have 5 more possibilities, but the end goal is still here. You
So
still
it's
go
like-
here to here, but you could go this way. You
Okay.
could go this way. You could go this way. So there's
So
like
you're
many
always, no
different
matter how you
ways.
go, you end up.
But no matter what, you're going to end up at the same place.
I got you.
So that's
it's
kind of like
an
maybe
illusion.
an illusion of free will, but it's still predestined.
This
of
is
where you're gonna
theology
end up,
class
you know?
101
It's been a
slash
weird-
philosophy.
And that's
been
where it
all
makes
over,
this is our
bro.
podcast, bro.
Yes,
That's what
It
we
really
Yeah.
is. That's serial
Yeah.
talk.
And that's where it makes it difficult though, because that's when people, you know, talk about, well, what about all like the bad people that do those things then? Because that is on a written track then, right?
Yeah.
If it's all
And
points
if
leads to
God's
the
all
same
knowing
thing,
and sees it, then why would he?
right?
be
Why would you
all good?
allow?
How would he
these
be all
things
good
type
if he
thing?
allowed
Because
that?
then that couldn't be. I mean, would that mean that the devil has his own people that he's then created and then done on his own, or does God allow that? Right? I mean,
But this is also like, think about it. An ant wouldn't be able to answer the questions that we ask
no,
ourselves.
no. It's
So
like,
where we,
But
we're
it's
probably not
important
even-
to ask it though, because we're
Yeah.
able to ask it. It's
Right.
not able.
But we're
As
but that's what I was
far
just
as we
about
know.
to. I don't
Right.
think we're
Yeah,
able
it
to
could be
ask the
smart.
correct questions because his knowingness is so much different than ours. He would.
Yeah, we literally
it would be
can't
so much
comprehend
high.
it.
We can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our brains couldn't possibly understand. An ant couldn't understand how to make this. We understand how to make
I don't
this.
know.
I don't know.
That.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm
Plastic,
sure if somebody
man.
taught you, you'd be like, okay, I get that. So you can put
Plastic?
this-
Yeah.
that's like that. Well,
But
that's like
you-
the
you
theory.
can
Can make a
comprehend.
pencil. Like no single person can make a pencil. That's kind of an interesting theory. It's way different, but like you know that like there's that. It's like that business saying or whatever. Like I can't tell you to make a pencil. Like you literally physically can't do it. You can't get the metal. You can't make the rubber. You can't do the graphite and the wood and the paint. It's like all these different things, and like it's a representation of how business works and globalization,
Yeah.
and now the different pulling in products from different areas and using different minds to do it. It was it's just a
So
random thing.
kind
It's
of
kinda
like
interesting.
none of us could just go like right now and pull a pencil out of our butt. Like we're not designed.
Yeah,
to do
like
that,
you
or
could. I
what
couldn't
are
tell
saying?
you make me a pencil, and you wouldn't be able to make this same pencil that I have in my hand. This number 2. Whatever
Oh, you're
pencil.
just saying like you could never replicate it. I don't know if I fully
Yeah,
understand.
like you couldn't go and you couldn't create the rubber on your own, and you couldn't refine the metal and then put those little grooves in it and go through that whole thing of creating this said pencil, because you would have to go through all these other areas
people?
and other people.
Okay, got
and
it. Now I
Other
understand.
things and other
thought
areas. It's
resources
like-
and stuff. That
I mean, yeah, but I wonder
see what
if
you're
someone
saying,
really like tried, if they could theoretically.
Do you
I mean,
think
I bet
that's,
somebody
that's
could
the
do it,
saying.
too.
back to
That's the
trying?
saying.
Do you think anyone? I mean, I think so.
Back to
but
what?
Do you think
Trying.
anyone's ever tried to time travel?
oh, for
I'm
sure.
Yeah, try.
You watch the
Sure.
How
Napoleon
come we don't
Dynamite?
have documents on that?
Because they failed, I suspect, or they're so successful, everybody kind of.
That's the thing. If you failed,
Conspiracy
it wouldn't be in
theory
any.
stuff.
If you failed, it wouldn't be news, and if you succeeded, they wouldn't be known. It wouldn't like.
What?
I don't know,
I
right?
do believe
Oh.
that. I don't believe, like, I've heard about things, like, from on here. I don't believe it's possible. Like, I think, what was his name? The guy that was in the wheelchair, he just passed away recently.
Stephen Hawking.
He came up with a theory, and he, like, worked on all this stuff, and he said it's theoretically impossible to time travel backwards. But going forward, like you said,
Right.
is exactly what you said. You would just have to go to a place of massive mass.
You'll have to look this up on your own time, and I don't remember it well enough to even articulate it clearly. But
That's what this
I
entire
saw
podcast
this-
is
yeah.
we can't remember stuff, we half remember it, and then we spew it out like we know,
Right.
and then that's it.
Well, there's this thing, I can't remember if I saw it on Twitter or Facebook, but it was this whole theory about Trump and Barron Trump, his son, and it's like showing like how it happened like in the past or something with like there's something about Barron Trump that looks just like him, but it's in the past, and he like the story is the same or it's something like that. Like, I mean, I'm not even close to the same, but it was enough where I'd like it was on this whole same like time travel conspiracy thing. And I went and read it, and I was like, oh shoot, like that was.
It was
cool.
like a kind of like a like. Have you guys ever heard of the Mandela effect?
Yes, remind me though.
Okay,
I know what you're talking
dang
about.
it! I was hoping you would know because it's one of those things.
I've
like,
heard it before. I
It's
just don't know what
hard.
it is.
Okay, so it's basically like if you were to ask a lot of people about Nelson Mandela, and they said, "Do you remember when he died in prison?" So many people remember him dying in prison,
Right.
but he never died in prison. Like so many people remember it as if he died in prison, but he never did.
Is that so?
And it's like the Bernstein Bears.
Like this
Everyone says like, oh yeah, the Bernstein Bears is it's like BERNSTEIN or whatever,
like that,
but it's not spelled that way. It's like a completely different like Bernstein or Bernstein or something. It's essentially saying like that there could be these multiple avenues, like kind of what we talked about, and people that like you jump. It's like an accidental jump where it jumps back. And so we were on a timeline where Nelson Mandela died in prison, but in reality he didn't. But people remember them as doing that. It's like, oh yeah, when he died in prison.
So was that
South
an example
Africa.
that you're giving, or is that
No, that's
actually
the
what
example that they say is that it's the Mandela effect, because how people remember things, and it's like a collective group of like people that remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison, but he didn't die in prison.
That's
But
weird.
so many people thought he did. And it's like a weird, like, what does that mean? Like, why do people think that? And that kind of thing. And it's much better illustrated. And it was in a class I had, like, sophomore year. They talked about it. And I don't really remember it, but it was so interesting when he was explaining it. And I'm sure a lot of people would know of it. But, yeah, like, YouTube that as well. That's another one of those things.
That's crazy. That's very.
All that stuff is so interesting because you guys were talking about the different paradoxes that could happen with time travel. And also the other one would be, if you tried to kill Hitler, the like the butterfly effect, where like if you kill Hitler, but when he's a baby, you never go into World War II, right? This is the other avenue. You never go into World War II, never goes into the Cold War, which goes into the space age, it goes into information age. You never get these technologies that we have exclusively from World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, which war brought us out of the Great Depression? World War II?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Great Depression was in the 30s.
I'm sorry, that was so random.
Yeah, there you go.
11, and also 11/23/19.
We watched it.
What
is it?
I told you to watch
96,
it. You watched
86, 70, 66.
Shoot, I just had it up.
It's 66.
64.
Oh yeah, I watched it. The one
When
with
did JFK die?
Franco. Yeah, JFK.
11,
That one's a cool
63.
show.
63.
Zach, you gotta watch the show.
It's a Stephen King book. First off, I think,
James
right?
Franco,
Yeah,
it's
the guy that
Thursday or
plays
something.
the guy that plays Harry Osborn and
Right,
yeah,
right.
you know, and all the other funny stuff. He's
What's
in.
it called?
11/22/63. So it's a TV series, one season show about James Franco discovers a time machine on how to go back and stop JFK from being killed, and it goes back, and it's super interesting. And I don't want to I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me.
Yeah,
it's really
because it's a good.
Okay.
It's worth it.
It doesn't
worth
end
it.
like
Netflix,
you expect.
Hulu?
It does not end like you. Yeah,
Netflix, Hulu.
Hulu, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it
it's
was
Hulu.
unless it changed, but it's on
Okay.
Hulu. I think that's the whole reason I got Hulu was to watch that show.
Amazon.
I can't.
It's
I think it was Hulu.
I think it's Hulu.
Okay.
I think
I'll have to
it's
look and
Hulu.
see. We mooch off.
It
of
could be
Hulu.
Amazon.
But it's good. It has a lot to do with time travel. It does take the grandfather effect, though. That's the kind of way they theorize on it, and it's
And it has the butterfly effect as well.
Right.
yeah, interesting stuff.
Have you guys heard of that? How humans could actually see the entire existence of the galaxy? If somebody ever gets sucked into a black hole, technically, because mass is so dense there, that time travels so slow for you, you could actually watch the entire universe go by, like to its very existence, within like a very short time span. For what feels like for you, as you're being ripped apart, first
Right.
off, but you could see it, and you would watch the entire universe stop existing while you're being ripped apart in this black hole, and it would go over in like a matter of a couple of hours, I think, something like that. It's
Would
just
you
crazy
survive that
stuff.
long?
But they say that you get like, I guess, turned into like spaghetti, like your entire, you just start to get squished, and as it pulls you like this. So as you're getting squished, it's pulling you like this, so you're literally being turned into
Wasn't it a
string.
Vsauce episode that talked
I don't know.
about
I
that,
saw it on.
yeah, it was something where you turn into
I listened to.
huge
I heard it
strand
like
of
Star
spaghetti.
Talk. I heard it on Star Talk, and he was like, how would you want to die?" And he was like, "Why would you ask that?" And he said, "Well, if I was to answer it, it's be sucked into a black hole." And he explained what would happen when he gets to see and that sort of thing.
You getting stretched
That's
out there.
hilarious.
Didn't sound
God's
fun.
probably watching now. And he's like, spaghetti? Where'd you get
That's not
this?
how it works. you
Yeah.
dumb
Oh
human.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Though.
That's fun.
Uh,
Yeah. All right.
would-
Well, you got anything?
I was
else?
gonna say one last thing. Would you go
How
to
much
like
Right,
Interstellar? Would you guys go to Mars if you got the chance
No.
to?
Forgot
Oh
the
heck
chance.
yeah!
What?
Are
Would
there
you?
any strings attached? Like
I
never
mean,
coming
just the
back,
risk.
or, like,
Yeah.
And yeah, never coming back. Just like in. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah. You're
Okay.
saying?
Yeah. No, not Interstellar. I'm sorry.
Martian?
The Martian.
No,
Yeah.
the one with
That's a
Chris
good one.
Pratt.
Oh,
They didn't go to Mars in that
Passengers.
one.
They went to Earth 2 or whatever.
Passengers?
Passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't go to Earth 2.
They're already talking about like the next 30 or 40 years when they want to actually go to Mars, have like a team. Like it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
Like they're talking about like getting people like starting this process, and you go there and you don't come back. There's no comeback plan. So
One of the guys that's wanting to go on this deal, he's like, "Yeah, I want to go." And Neil deGrasse Tyson was interviewing him, and he's like, "You're married?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to go?" "Yeah, my wife's encouraging it." They're like, "I'll come back though." Have you had a conversation? She's like, "Yeah, she's totally fine with it." I'm like, "Okay, dude.
All right,
whatever.
man.
You
Yeah.
do you. Whatever."
wow,
funny.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
it's kind of
It's
okay.
so awesome that
yeah.
after my wedding, you guys went to my house and
know.
got hammered with my parents. like, that is awesome.
I talked to your mom. I was like, "I feel like we should hide this from you right now."
Right.
Like, I
And,
feel like
and
we
we
should-
also we were there and like at first I was like, "There's like we're gonna have to leave early. There's no way it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be awkward." And then before you know it, like snap, everyone's like, "Ooh," at a freaking pizza box. There's a Captain America shield.
I still have his axe, your Captain America,
Yeah.
that little axe that you
Yes.
made, or
Yeah.
hammer, or whatever. I have it in the back of my car.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Whatever. I know.
But yeah,
it looks more like an
it was
axe to me,
funny.
but whatever.
And if I need to put that video up of you doing it, if that's all right with you, because oh my god,
Dude, I saw Davis singing.
yeah. Did you see him hyping
Yeah,
him
you
up?
were so hyped.
This is what makes me mad when he said I was lame. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Dude,
you're
okay,
right, you're
literally,
right.
I saw you two and I was like, we need to go do this again. That's what I texted him. I was like,
Did you see us dancing? I feel like I wasn't in as much as those two were.
oh my
though.
god, Davis doing his
Oh,
thing going. Oh my god, that was hilarious.
yeah, that
But
was.
yeah, with my parents, like, okay, so my parents will drink, but never to that level. And the fact that
I don't know
at
if
my-
they drank though. Did they?
Well, here's the thing, because at the wedding, there was a moment when like I was free or whatever, and I ended up talking to my dad, and he looked at me and he goes, "Not gonna lie, I am buzzing hardcore right now." And I looked at him, I was like, "Finally, finally!" Because like they won't ever. And so I was like,
your mom,
It was like
bro.
you, because like all through high school and first part of college, you're like, gotta be goody two shoes, quarterback, I'm the preacher, gotta do all that stuff, and then now you finally cut loose for a little
Yeah.
bit.
When was
And
that
so
first
stuff-
time? Was it the time we went out with during like December Christmas
Yes,
break?
that was the first time I saw.
That
you
was a
cut
bad
loose,
night
and that
though.
was-
Like me and Davis were
Was that the night that
messed
you
up.
yelled at all of us for not being there, and then you got
No,
super
that was
sick?
later. That was later.
You had a spree of like you went hard,
Yeah.
like really hard.
I took a dip there. I had to fast from it. Not that I like felt like I was addicted or anything, but I was like, I gotta take a step back.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. And I remember at your wedding though, like feeling the same way your dad did. Like
Yeah.
I was
Off the mimosas.
someone was talking, bro, and I remember like looking at him and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so gone right now. And it was AK. I don't know if we want to drop names.
I got you.
But and so like I was looking at her and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like looking through her. Stop it. And it was just
Because you probably haven't been drunk around that, though, like
No.
UVP,
And so-
like all the UVP
yeah,
girls.
That's a good
I
point.
probably
Yeah.
scared them to be honest, because
Yeah.
I was like
Dude.
probably
You
the first to go.
We need to, okay.
You and me
seriously,
both.
we all need to get with that group again, because like I felt so bad, like I felt left out in a ways because I couldn't drink.
Yeah.
And I was still driving.
You're like,
and
I have
was
stuff to
I'm
do
about say
tonight.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, I got stuff to get to. And I was like, we need to like text them or something, and like all of us get back together and go out one night or something.
Yeah.
Because I still have all those tokens for the mat for
Bro.
my bachelor party.
His your brother-in-law now.
Soon, basically,
Somewhat,
brother-in-law.
yeah.
Soon to make it official.
We were at the
Alyssa's
Max-
sister's fiance.
We're
got
at the
married.
Okay.
yeah, we're at the Max, and this man just buys like $8 worth of tokens, and each one gets 5. So he had like 40 coins, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"You get some, you get some,"
Yeah.
just handing them out, and it was bad. And then Zach, if we were going in on detail this night,
Yeah,
it was
go
so
for
funny,
it.
bro. Like we're at the Max, and we're chilling, and Zach's just gone, and so we're sitting there at the bar, and this girl comes up to Davis, and it's like, "Hey." And they like start talking, and then Davis turns around. She's buying us Jello shots, and everyone's like, "Okay." And then Zach comes up,
Davis?
bro.
What's
Zach-
going on with that
I don't
dude?
know.
We need to have a conversation.
So
I don't
smooth.
know.
Yeah.
But anyways, Zach comes around, and we're like, "Oh gosh, what is Zach gonna do?" He comes up, he's like taps on her. I don't know. This is how I imagine it. Remember
This is
it?
the lady.
Yeah, this
I
is a
guess.
lady,
I don't
and he
remember
taps on her shoulder. He's like, "Getting married tomorrow." She's like, "Oh, congrats." He's like, "I'm gonna get laid."
I kept saying that all night. I was like,
Everyone,
I'm gonna get laid.
bro. Everyone was like, and then before we know it, she was gone. We didn't have Jello shots.
No,
She
we
was like,
did. I remember taking a Jello
scared her
shot.
off.
before she never bought us some though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
So-
funny.
Zach, you
What
scared
the
her
heck?
off,
Oh,
man.
I did. Then the one night so we went to the Max, and then we went to Fassler.
Yes.
Made a pit stop on the way there that we won't talk about on the.
I don't
It's not what you
remember.
think.
Oh, I
Right,
remember.
okay.
Okay.
You saw my friend.
I saw your friend.
So, yeah.
That's not what it even sounds worse that
We
way.
did not go to a strip club.
No, we didn't.
So then we went to Fassler.
You saw
and
my
we're
friend.
sitting there.
Yeah, Candy? No.
No, Starlight. That's the one. Starlight. We saw Starlight. She was right there.
So anyway, so then we go to Fassler, and we have more like tequila shots or something there, and so we go up to the front.
This thing's
And
about to break.
for some reason, we decided to dance, which none of us are really dancers, but when we're that drunk, we're dancers.
Low key, we made everyone run away too because we
Yes.
sucked.
Oh yeah.
But we danced. I don't
That's when we
care.
ran
That's the
into a
fun thing.
couple
There we go.
guys from high school that was like pretty funny, and
Yeah.
which was funny seeing them because again, both you and I in high school
We're
were
like,
like trying to
We're
we're
like, what the
messed
heck
up.
is happening?
So
It
we
would
go
be a weird sight
Yeah.
go up
to
to
see
the
both
front.
of you doing that.
Yeah.
and we're sitting there. I was just like doing whatever I'm doing.
Especially
when
if
I'm
you're just
drunk.
good. Like you're just walking into some place to have fun and
Yeah.
you see you two. I'm good. I'm gonna leave. Let's get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
I
So
don't want
we're
to
on
deal
this
with this
flip.
right now.
We're leaving.
Oh yeah. So we go up to the front dance floor. We're dancing. All of a sudden, like we're just like in our circle. And all of a sudden, I feel something like bump up next to it, and I turn and look, and I just see this girl's butt like right here on me, and then like her back. So she's like full on twerking on me, and I remember I had a thought process of, okay, do I turn this way and just ignore her? Do I say something to her? Or do I just rotate a little bit and embrace it? And I had the thought, I was like, it's my last night of freedom. It's nothing bad.
Be
So
careful
I
what you
started
say
to-
next, though.
I told Alyssa, so we're good.
Okay,
I
good.
confessed her. I was like, babe, I gotta be honest. This is what happened. She's like, oh, it's fine. Yeah. So, wait a second. What? No. So we're all good. But I literally was like about to turn and just embrace it, and then Davis and Jake, my soon-to-be brother-in-law, stepped in and were like, no. And Davis was like, away with that evil. Away with that evil.
Literally, bro, like shaming her. I was like,
I was like, okay.
I didn't see it, bro. I was just like over here, like,
Bro.
and I was like,
Davis, what is
Oh,
going
I
on
know.
with
Davis
this
must be a
man?
stud, bro.
I know.
Remember
What?
when we were at the same place, Fassler, and that happened to you? And what did you do? It was the
I handed
funniest
off to
thing
him.
ever.
I was.
Oh, you were like, oh yeah, Mary.
I was like this, and I was like, "Have you met my friend Davis?"
Yeah.
Oh, I've done that before.
And Davis was like, "Hi, how you doing?" There?
y'all crazy.
And I
Davis,
just
Davis
walked
is
out.
up in his game. Like he is starting to dress so much better.
He's about to
Yeah.
feel. If he listens to this podcast, he can feel so good.
Hey,
about
belly
himself.
button
I
grease,
know.
Davis. Stay down.
Oh shoot!
we dog him almost every week.
We gotta
too.
knock him back down a little bit.
Davis, I love you.
Belly button grease is all I have
We
to
probably
say.
do dog him almost every week.
We do
Every single week.
Everybody that
Yeah.
listens to this knows Davis from the
Yes.
podcast, but also knows about what we think
I
about
know.
him. Like,
Yeah.
We're making,
No, he's a-
you're not you. You're way too mean to him.
What? What do you mean?
Davis.
I hang out with Davis the most.
Yeah, I'm probably
Like every
too mean to
night.
him.
You're the meanest. What are you
I'm not the
talking
meanest,
about?
but I hang out with him too, though. You know.
Not as much as I
We
do.
all hang out with him.
Not as much as I do.
I feel like
You're
for
You're
everybody
right. Not as
to
much as
post-
you.
We'll just invite him next Wednesday. We'll be
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
us. We'll,
Davis
we'll
back
let
on.
Davis
We'll
settle
talk
it.
about
And then-
his studliness.
He'll get
think I
that little
hang out
smirk
with-
he gives, like, I can't do it, but he has like a little
Do it
smirk when
again.
he's talking. Nah, I can't.
Do it again.
again.
Do
No,
that
I'm
same
kidding.
face again, please.
Wait.
He's kind of like a.
I don't think I've like ever been really drunk with him though. That you guys
Dude,
talked
he's a
about
fun
it.
drunk.
The night you did.
Did he was with us.
Yeah, but he was pissed more than he was
This is-
anything.
We were at cloud 9, just living life.
Walk across that road. Walk across that road. That was a good. You missed it.
You were supposed to be there.
Yeah, I showed you that.
Yeah,
supposed to.
that was a good time.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
I wasn't
you
there.
know what we need. You know what we need to do
I wasn't there.
is we just need to have a night where we all go downtown. Then it's all of us. Nobody can complain about
Oh,
I didn't get drunk with
Sure,
you or
yeah.
something.
Sure.
We all need to go do that.
That night, Gally was talking to this girl, and I go, "Bro, that looks like Veronica off of Riverdale." And he I don't know if he took it as that's her name or what, but every time he saw her, her name was like
Veronica.
Sarah, but
No,
she's
some
like
random
Veronica.
Veronica. He kept calling her Veronica, right?
No,
I kept yelling
Veronica.
at her, calling her Veronica.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her
I
name
said,
was
"Sure, Veronica." She was so
Yeah.
confused.
Veronica, and then we saw her like an hour later walking across. He's like, Veronica.
That's the video I think you sent me.
Yes.
Is that he was so gone, and he
Yeah.
sends me the video. He's like. He's got a selfie. He's like, "What up, bro? You just do it for no comment." And then he sees the light in the background. He goes, "Look at the sun, bro. Look how pretty the sun is. Gally, look at the sun." And Gally shows up. "Wow, it's a really pretty sun, man." And then Gally walks out of the screen. Farquhar's just like, and then I hear, "Veronica!" And then the video cuts out. And I'm like, who? So I texted him.
Veronica!
I texted that morning. He's like, "Who the crap is Veronica? Why is Gally screaming her name?" And he's like, "I have no idea who she is." And then you figured it out.
That was
Yeah.
funny. You had on your mirror at your
Dion wrote it on the mirror.
Yeah, Dion wrote on his
That's
mirror
funny.
at his place, Veronica.
Yeah.
Who, what, where, whatever.
Who, what, where?
What
Question
is
marks.
it? Figure it out.
Who is this thing?
I think we're being like so open right now, which is cool. Like, what would you say? I feel like a lot of it, or me especially, a lot of people will be like what? You know, what? I didn't
I
expect
know.
that. So like, what would you say to that against people? Not against people, but like, I know I'm getting deep right now. But
Wait, what do you mean?
He's saying, I get what you're saying because
Yeah.
I'm like you. I'm
Yeah.
on the end that.
And
I don't know, I'm trying to be careful.
We
with my
don't
words.
have to.
You
go
have
there.
to be careful. Yeah, you have to be
Yeah.
careful with your words because, like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about this, not on the podcast.
talk about what.
What you're talking about right now.
Okay. I mean, that's fine to me.
You might
I'm just gonna
just
say
talk
I
about-
love Jesus, and Jesus made wine
And
and
loves me.
You just didn't get drunk at the max.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think so.
that's the thing. But I mean, I get what you're saying, and
There's some good stories on that, though, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Dust
The whole
Bowl,
thing.
and
the
Jack.
But here's the thing. All that stuff that we talked about, it's an occasional thing that we all do.
Yeah.
Every now and
I haven't been at your house
Yeah.
since the last time I was with y'all, and
Yeah.
that was months and months ago.
Right.
And so like that's why I got as bad as I was because I was like I haven't tasted this in 6
Yeah.
months,
Yeah.
and so it was like
I can only remember
shotgun to the face,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
I mean, seriously, like I can count on one hand how many nights where I've been like, yeah, I was maybe blacked out or I was like really, really bad. But what's funny is that it's funny for us to go out and do that because we're not known for doing that.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I remember, like, I woke up. So my bachelor party, I got the worst I've ever been. And the next day, I remember my mom was out running errands, and she came home, and I came down to say hi to her, and I just flopped on the couch because I felt so bad. And she just started laughing. She's like, "This is so funny because this doesn't happen to you." And
Yeah.
so it's funny seeing you the night before and then seeing you the next day. And she's like, "Now, if it was happening every now and then, or all the
Every
time,
night,
yeah.
then it'd be a problem."
Yeah.
But because it you
Every
know,
weekend or
cut
something.
loose every
yeah.
now and then, it's okay.
Plus, it's the things like they don't lead into things that are worse, and I feel like that's
Yeah,
the
you always
root of
do it
alcohol.
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So it's
always have a
interesting topic.
driver. Always
It's interesting
do
I was
that.
sorry to bring it be a
Yeah.
downer, but I just I had to address it because
No, I got you
like
because
looking
I've
at
low-key been
yeah.
thinking about
Yeah.
this whole time. That's why I haven't
Yeah.
talked about as
Yeah.
much as I could
Yeah.
because I'm like, well, there's still stuff that I got.
But here's also the thing
because
for
of what I'm
me-
doing at other places.
Yes.
It's just like
Mm-hmm.
I could still have a conversation to probably will now, but
But for me though, it's also
it's
like
too late. No going back now.
I've never related to people in a sense in that way until after I went through a rough patch and kind of like went down that aisle in a sense, and not even that, but even like had fun in that way. It's like you don't relate to someone until they see you where you know where they are too, and I think that's important.
That's the
too.
realist right there.
Yeah.
Like you're ignorant to it until you experience
Yeah,
it, and that's
yeah.
with just about anything. Like
Right.
you can empathize and try to understand what somebody's doing or going through or whatever, but you'll never fully understand until you've hit
Right.
it yourself. And that's the same thing. Like yeah, you're 100% right, bro. I agree with you on that one.
Yep.
It's interesting to watch that from like to watch it going from like high school, like with people, like we kind of like you said, like people that you know, like in high school,
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't like picturing you doing that while in high school just didn't make any sense.
When you said the F word one time, we thought it was in the world.
we thought
were
like
like,
done.
I did it on
Like,
accident.
Jesus is
too.
about to
Yeah.
come back because he just said the freaking
He kept
F word.
playing
right?
around. He kept like you kept saying like
Frick,
tuck or something.
tuck.
I said
He's like
suck and
yeah,
frick.
shut the tuck up.
And
all
one
that
day
stuff.
you
Yeah.
combined them.
One day I combined them in your face or Galley's face.
I don't remember. We were up on the
was at
stairs
my
and we
house.
scared him or something.
Yeah,
It was my house.
It scared all of us. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
I
we were like,
fell on the
"Oh,
stairs
crap."
because you said it. I was running up and I hear, fuck! Boom! I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was weird, but like that thing, like it's just interesting. And then you see that like in college too, you see people that come from like so many schools that didn't have any type of like out into that.
Yeah.
And some people like do really well with that, and they just like kind of turn normal in
Yeah.
college. They can have some, but not at all, a lot.
But
then there's others that come out, and it's just like they just. Boom!
Yeah.
They hit
It's
it,
just
and
like,
they're just
let's
like, oh
experience
yeah,
all of it right
because it was
now.
like
Right.
constricting type of like high school for them or parenting or things like that you were just like, and then they have freedom and they just go crazy, and it's kind of interesting to see that happen while in college even.
Yeah.
And yours wasn't like that. It wasn't like a eureka in the sense of like you start going crazy.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because like Colt and I, whenever we would have things in high school, we would like scared of you.
And
and,
never
like, didn't
tell
talk
me,
about
bro.
you.
Never
Yeah,
told
like
me
'cause it was
nothing.
We
like
can
you
tell
were
you
just-
stuff now, but honestly,
Yeah,
like, you
like-
remember all the stuff we're like, all right, let's just go back home or something. Like, you know,
There
what I
was
mean?
many,
We would-
yeah. There was
we
many a
wouldn't-
times where we just were like, "No, we're just gonna talk about Farquhar. Like, talk to Farquhar about this."
And it wasn't that we thought you would like shun us or anything. It wasn't like it was just like not your deal. So it was just like we
Yeah,
just
it was kind of like a mix between like you don't want to tell
Except
your
there was a
parents
few
'cause, like
times.
a disappointment thing. Like we don't want to see you disappointed.
Well, there was one
But
time
then-
that we were like, "This is a douchebag thing." You know what I'm talking about too, and it was like we can't tell.
Yeah,
him about
I know
that
what you're
one.
talking about.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking
I
about.
know what you're
Like,
talking about
We can't
now.
tell him about that
I'll tell you
one because he'll
later.
get
I'll tell you
mad.
later.
Yeah, right.
But we can't tell.
But we
him
all
about
did
it.
that.
Yeah.
We can't even get into this.
Yeah.
high
All
school.
right, new
Nothing
topic.
bad.
What's
What
a
a
new
time.
topic?
Yeah,
High school
listen,
was
we
fun.
all did stuff like that. Clear
I
slate.
know,
We're
it
done
really
talking
clears it up.
We're the greatest high school ever. Though.
Funny. It's kind of good. You guys got anything else?
We got the question of the day from Zach, and let's see if
go.
Oh,
we can
gosh.
come up with it.
We already talked about so much deep
I know.
stuff.
That's
No,
it.
yeah.
I don't know.
We suck it out of you before.
Gosh.
That was probably one of the more deeper podcasts we've had.
Yeah.
Let's
it went
say-
so. It was.
It
up,
was
down.
It was
over
we
here.
had, like the most
I'm
shallow.
sorry.
Just
All right,
talking about.
here's my question. So we talked a lot about time travel. So if you could, let's say you couldn't interfere. You're just a spectator. What time period would you want to travel to just to see what it was like?
Okay. I like it. What time period?
Answer the questions. Comment. We are on iTunes, Spotify now. So on iTunes,
Yeah,
leave
shout
us a
out.
review.
Oh, sweet.
Like, show us some love. We're gonna have the links in the description if you're watching on YouTube. If you're already listening to this on iTunes and everything, awesome. Leave us a review. It really helps us out. That's how other people get to watch us that aren't the 8 friends that we have. So like, subscribe, all that good
Hi,
stuff.
Mom.
Just type in Serial Talk Podcast.
Serial Talk Podcast. We love you guys. You guys got anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
Peace.
Thank you.